Is everybody familiar with GoBiz? Show of hands, relatively. GoBiz is the shortened acronym for the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. It's a set of evolutions that got us to that organization, starting all the way back with the Schwarzenegger administration, where by executive order he established what was then called GoEd, or Governor's Office of Economic Development. It's now an actual codified organization. It's been legislated, and therefore it is a real budgeted organization with, I believe they're close to 25 staff members now. They cover the gamut of business and economic development, but are also actively involved in a number of these kind of efforts. Those of you that are already on the list, there is an event on March 27th that the GoBiz is hosting, and I'm sure Kish will tell us a little bit about that. And with no further ado, since I stalled just long enough, Kish Rajan, Director of Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. Kish serves not only as the director of that organization, but he has a 20-year track record of success working at senior levels in government. He was a city council member, most formally for the city of Walnut Creek, and in fact, vice mayor. He leads an executive team at GoBiz in shaping an upcoming California Advanced Manufacturing Summit, again on March 27th, which will serve as convener for manufacturing, education, and government leaders to drive the California agenda in advanced manufacturing. And with no further ado, Kish.
Thank you. Thank you. And I have impeccable timing, as you can tell, so thank you. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. And Rob, thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you for all of your leadership when I was on the council. Rob was someone who I sought out and had a chance to get to know and really appreciate the leadership he provided and will continue to provide on these really important topics generally of driving an innovation-based economy in California and certainly here in the East Bay region. So thank you for all that you've been doing. Good luck in your new role up in Davis, but I just sort of see that as just a slightly further east extension of the East Bay. So, and I say that in the most positive sense. We're looking forward to working with you. So congratulations and thank you. It's good to be here, everybody. I really appreciate the time. This is a wonderful opportunity that's in front of us right now. This is another key moment in our nation's history and in California's history. And we're really excited to be partnering with all of you, or developing those partnerships and building them, and making sure that we take full advantage of the opportunity that is afoot. California has historically been a manufacturing force for the country and for the world. From birthing the sector of aerospace manufacturing to creating the defense machinery of the Cold War, to producing the incredible innovations and the revolution that is the digital age of Silicon Valley, California has been at the forefront. Historically, manufacturing companies have worked alongside the wealth of assets, the innovators, our culture of entrepreneurship and innovation in California that really has been unmatched, and that continues to be true. Because of that strong linkage, California manufacturing has been one of the first to realize new markets and new technologies and to produce for them. We've been able to produce on a very large scale, and we've been able to produce in a small plant culture as well, and everywhere in between. Manufacturing is indeed part of the blueprint of California. It's almost part of our DNA, if you will. And the numbers really reflect this. And in my role, we have to think a lot about, in the aggregate, what are the major economic drivers in the state? What's working? What are the backbones of California's economy? And manufacturing is right there. California is the largest manufacturing state in the country. 1.2 million manufacturing jobs is what we have in our state. 47,000 manufacturing companies, cumulatively putting out $230 billion in manufacturing output. And just by way of comparison, that is triple what really successful states like Michigan or Pennsylvania produce from a manufacturing standpoint. And despite a lot of the hype that we hear, it's actually even $40 billion more than that little state to our southeast, Texas. The truth is, California's manufacturing output has consistently increased. It's consistently grown, and it reached its highest peak in 2011. And it's the type of industry that gives back in a really important and meaningful way to the overall economy. Each manufacturing job in general creates 2.5 additional jobs in a line or adjacent or supporting sectors. Every dollar that's spent in manufacturing adds $1.50 of contribution back into the economy. It is and it still will be an engine of massive job growth. In fact, nationally, over a recent 16-month period, there were 280,000 job listings that were related to manufacturing. So when you think about job creation and job output, manufacturing is enormous. It's enormous nationally, and we are the biggest in California. So that's good. But with all of those positive numbers, we do know that where we are today in California is not exactly where we want to be and where we will be into the future. So while our output has consistently grown, employment in traditional manufacturing in California has leveled off and has actually even declined somewhat slightly. Not as much as other people would like to make hay about, but it is true that in the last year, in 2010, California's job number related to manufacturing did decline by 9,000 jobs. Now that's not a huge number onto itself, but the fact that there is any decline at all is something that we have to pay close attention to, and we are. So we know that if we are going to renew our commitment, and if we're going to renew the opportunity for manufacturing in California, clearly one of the answers is advanced manufacturing, and that's what we're here to talk about today, and we'll be continuing to talk about. We're very excited about that. And California, of course, is already leading in this area. From 2010 to 2011, California has added over 15,000 jobs in our state in advanced manufacturing across a variety of sectors: computers, electronics, metal, machinery, biotechnology, and aerospace, just to name a few. And certainly projections indicate, all indications are, that advanced manufacturing is going to experience sustained and very significant growth nationally and globally. And we do know that the traditional forms of manufacturing will probably have an inverse relationship there and continue to level off, if not decline. So for California, undoubtedly, and for those of us that are squarely focused on our economy, advanced manufacturing is a clear focus. So what do we need to do to renew manufacturing in general in California? Where there's some things that we're already doing, things that we're committed to: legislative action, tax action, regulatory reform, and the like. Senate Bill 1128 that was passed last year, Senator Padilla continuing to show great leadership in this area, provides for a sales and use tax exemption for the purchase of manufacturing-related equipment. That's a great benefit to businesses, and we are very supportive of that and hope to see that fully utilized and perhaps even grow in terms of the availability of that incentive across our California marketplace. We have a California research and development tax credit that allows companies to get some tax benefit for R&D, for basic research in our state. And our office in particular is really focused on the regulatory climate in California and ways to make significant improvements in that regard. Governor Brown has made this a very clear and he has prioritized this as something in his administration. And therefore, it is a direction to us in our office to execute on ways to improve the regulatory climate in California. This is something that's important for overall economic growth, but certainly when you're talking about the advancement and the development of whole new industries, thinking about how we can streamline the permitting process, make those processes more consistent, make them more accountable, make them more transparent, help reduce the risk, help remove barriers so that we can incentivize the type of investment for companies to start and for companies to grow in our state. The regulatory climate in California is a major area where we can make improvement. We're determined to do that, and the governor is holding our office accountable for making sure that it happens. So we're very focused on doing just that. So these are all good efforts that show the commitment of Governor Brown and his administration. But when it comes to advanced manufacturing, there's more that we can do, and we've expressed those intentions very clearly, and Rob alluded to it, so let me elaborate for just a minute on our meeting for next week. As you know, it was just a little over a month ago that President Obama in the State of the Union put out the challenge for advanced manufacturing. He said, quote, "Our first priority is making America a magnet for new jobs and manufacturing," unquote. And he outlined his vision for expanding that through the Manufacturing Innovation Institute Initiative, or IMI, I guess as it's called. We know that there's been a first go at that in what happened in Youngstown, Ohio, and the president's clear that he wants to build on those successes across the country. So today, the fact that you are all here And the fact that we're here and the fact that we're having our meeting next month is testament to the fact that we heard the president's call, and California is determined to respond to that call and show leadership. So my colleague and friend, the governor's senior advisor on jobs in the economy, Mike Rossi, he publicly responded to the president and said that, quote, as the #1 state for manufacturing, for jobs and output in the nation, California will lead the next generation of advanced manufacturing in America. We heard the president's call, and California will respond. And that day, we announced the meeting that Rob referred to. So next week in the state capitol, we're going to have a meeting. Mike is going to lead it along with myself and my deputy, our deputy for innovation and entrepreneurship, Lewis Stewart, who many of you know, and I want to take a minute to commend Lewis. I don't think he was able to be here today, but you've seen him around, and he's just done a tremendous job on our team, really carrying the flag and being a consistent force to try to help in our office and our efforts on innovation and entrepreneurship. And I appreciate Lewis, who really is doing the heavy lifting to make our meeting a success next week. The key that we know and the real theme of the meeting is this. It's time, clearly, to build the next iteration of manufacturing in California, and we need to do that together. Now, we're not the only ones saying this. There are consortia that are growing up all over the state. You all have provided tremendous leadership, and we see this statewide. Partnerships between our world-class education institutions, the amazing capacity of our national laboratories, industry is aligning with academia. We see these partnerships and alignments forming statewide, and that's great to see. It's very encouraging and it's very exciting. These are good steps. They're necessary steps. You know, diversity has always been one of the core strengths of California. And when it comes to the elements that are going to make advanced manufacturing really work, the diversity of assets that we bring in California are remarkable, if you think about it. Our technical infrastructure, as I mentioned, our national laboratories, our world-class education network, the UC system, the CSU system, the community college network, the fact that we are undoubtedly the national leader in things like venture capital, foreign direct investment capital, the availability of that capital to form and grow businesses in California is really second to none, and we have a wide margin, a wide advantage over other states in the country. It's our openness to new technologies and new innovations, our cultural and our intellectual capital. These are all things that contribute to our success in manufacturing. And now the key is, if we can bring all of those together, if we can align all of those assets, focus them and direct them at what our goals are, California's capacity together, it's unrivaled. We can't be matched by anybody else nationally. That's the opportunity in front of us. It's a golden opportunity for the Golden State, right? To create, as we think about the national hub opportunity, and we know that that's a competitive situation, but certainly we think that the notion of creating a unified submission, the notion of creating a unified voice and a unified approach that aggregates and integrates all of those tremendous capacities that we have, I don't know who's going to beat California if we're really aligned and we're working together. We don't want to just participate in the race. We don't want to just get into the race. We want to lead this race. We want to define it. And that's the capacity that California has that no one else does. But we have to take advantage of that opportunity. We know that we're on the verge of the next industrial revolution. California has to guide the way for our nation and for the world, as we've done before so many times. During this leap forward of technology and business, we have to accelerate this opportunity for all California businesses and for the workers that work there. And we have to do it not just by being part of where advanced manufacturing is headed, but by leading where it's going. You know, one of the heroes that I have in sports is Wayne Gretzky, right? And they asked him at one point, what makes you so great, right? Why are you such a great hockey player? And the answer he gave is, well, I guess because in my career, the way I do this, I don't skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going to be, right? And that's what made him so remarkable, and I think that that's, to me, a wonderful analogy for how California has always been. So I'm just going to close by saying that, you know, it makes me almost smile, almost chuckle when I think about other governors around the country that come to California and they want to woo our businesses away by saying, you know, it's just too doggone hard to do business in California. And if you come to our state, we're going to make it easier for you. And I think that kind of pitch misses the point. There's no doubt that, as I've alluded to, we can do state policies and we can make improvements that undoubtedly can help businesses to form and grow here, regulatory improvements, tax incentives, and the like. There are policy things that we can, should, and are doing to improve business in California. So that's absolutely true. But if your fundamental pitch to California businesses is you need to go someplace where it's going to be easier for you, I think that shows that you don't quite get who we are and what we're about. You know, what I love about working for Governor Brown is that he brings that historical perspective. He understands that to appreciate who California is today is to understand how we were founded. You know, truly, if you think about the fact that these folks on the East Coast packed up everything that they had, put their lives on the line to get in covered wagons and go west, and to go through the plains and to go over the mountains, to fight through all the elements, to fight through all the dangers that they faced, going all the way to the coast, really fundamentally with no idea what they were going to find when they got there, but a true belief that it was just going to be great, right? Those folks didn't skate to the puck. They skated to where the puck was going to be, and they believed. And they set a tone and a culture in our state that has endured ever since. Ever since then, we have come across moments in our state's history, moments of challenge, of trial and tribulation, moments of difficulty, moments of great opportunity. Time and again, California has risen to those moments. We've risen to those challenges, and we've led the country and we've led the world in the process. Undoubtedly, this next industrial revolution is just such a moment. And as I said before, if we align our assets, if we come together in focus and determination, believing in who we are, summoning the full complement of that history, that tradition, that culture, and those capabilities, if we focus all that in this direction, then once again, California is going to lead and change the world again. And I look forward to working with you all in that spirit. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.